Necesitamos estampillas.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Homemakers Radio. This is a radio series that is dedicated to homemakers all around the world. This series goes anywhere from 1932 to 1949. We are going to also be talking about the Great Depression, World War II, the Victory Garden, and what was it like for the homemaker in those days. This is brought to you by United States Department of Agriculture, and this series right now that I'm going to be talking about was from 1941. These were radio shows that were produced for the homemaker to give her some comfort and companion at a time when things were of great turmoil during World War II. Back in World War II, a lot of the men were off to the service, and that left women, especially women that lived in the farming communities, home alone to do all the chores and to do all the farming work. They were expected to do a lot of work, and it was a very lonely life for them. But through the radio service, they always would tune into that and listen to it. It gave them a little bit of news about what's going on in the home front, and it also gave them a lot of information on how to save money in ways that maybe they never thought about before. I think this material is just as important today as it was back in the 1930s and the 1940s, because all of us can learn to save money, and all of us needs that little bit of companionship. Maybe you would like to work on some chores while you listen, or wash some dishes, or maybe you just want to sit and listen to me, because I always show you things, share things, and also I will have unique real life footage from back in the time period. Let's go ahead and get started. The subject for today is the Housekeeper's Chat. Program includes notes on timely subjects of interest to homemakers, menu and recipes from the Bureau of Home Economics, USDA. The bulletins available are canning fruit and vegetables at home, the housefly and how to suppress it, clothes, moths, and their control. I will share with you a link in the Internet Archives where all of this information you can find at your fingertips. Did you know there is an Internet Archive where it shares all the publications back from the 1920s to the 1910s, and a lot of them are free to download and you can print them out. So this was printed out with a very old typewriter, so sometimes it's a little hard to read, but I do my best. The other day, just as I had gotten started on the weekly cleaning, I heard the back screen door open, and a lively voice called my name. "Something to read to you," said my neighbor. "It's along the line of what we were discussing the other day, vacations, and why every housewife should have one." "Stop sweeping for a minute, Aunt Sammy, and let me read you this article." "Go ahead," I said, leaning on my broom handle. This is what my neighbor read. "Everything in nature takes a resting spell. But we who whom is giving free control of our wills, we speed ahead, breathlessly trying to do more today than we did yesterday. To accomplish more this year than ever before, it's always more, and more. Full speed ahead, we grimly go, until nature grimly says, 'It's enough, now you rest,' and lay us by our heels. Wouldn't it be better to follow the rule, after work we should rest? If there seems to be no time to rest, take the time. Use a little of the money that you are laying aside for old age, and push the evil day still further away. Insure yourself against old age by keeping your body young. Take a trip to the nearest town, or the furthest if you can. Go out and see new people, new ways. Even though you return at home, do the best that you can. I have seen nothing that looks as good to me as my own garden gate. I have seen no people that looked more kindly upon me than my own neighbors. But even so, getting away can help. Now and then cut work and run away for the day, Push the Ford as far as she will go. Eat your lunch in an open. Take your nap under the pup tent. Cook your evening meals by the side of the roadside spring. The roadside spring. Drink in the beauty of the sky and the woods and the water. Let your soul stretch its wings and take on a quality that comes through the serenity of nature. Forget about your duties. Lose the feeling of anxiety that pushes you to the task ahead. Empty your mind and fill your spirit with the power of the great intelligence of the universe. Rest this spell that you may work tomorrow. There, concluded my neighbor, that is it, and I intended to have a vacation this summer, even though I can't dash over to Europe. Honestly, Aunt Sammy, I told so many people goodbye last summer that I got a permanent wave. Bidding them farewell, but I didn't come over to talk about vacations. I came to invite you and your family to my house for dinner. I know you'll be too tired to do your cooking yourself. Will you come? Of course, I accepted the invitation. I'm going to interrupt the program for just one moment to show you 3 sets of the bamboo, and these are the cutting boards. We have the very small one, and then we have the medium-sized one, and then we have the very large one. And these cutting boards are amazing because they have the groove all around them. That will keep all the juices from cutting up vegetables and meat from going on the table. They are made with bamboo. You can use either side. There also is a place here where it keeps all the juices from combining or running. So in other words, if you were cutting vegetables and meat in the same, this here would keep the meat juices all in one place. And they also have a hole in the center of them, which is great for hanging up. I'm going to show you my grandma's. This is her Swiss Army peeler. It is bent up, but this is from 1942, her Swiss Army peeler. It is the sharpest peeler that I have, and I could never find one sharper. So, back in the day, they sure made things really good. I'm going to go ahead and peel these carrots for our meal, and now we'll get back into the program. These spring days are always days for washing blankets. Don't use strong soap or strong washing powder. Borax and ammonia solutions are the safest to use on those wool blankets. Where can I get directions on making fly traps at home? You will find the directions for making fly traps in the Farmer's Bulletin, 1408, the housefly and how to suppress it. This bulletin also gives directions for ridding the house of flies by the use of screens, fly paper, and poisons. Oh my. You've probably heard this jingle about the early fly. The early fly's the one to swat. It comes before the weather's hot. It sits around and cleans its legs and lays almost 1 billion eggs. And every egg will hatch a fly to drive us crazy by and by. Roast and Swiss steaks are the less tender cuts of beef, may be improved in flavor and more tender by the addition of tomatoes. After browning the meat on both sides in the hot fat, add the liquid, cover closely, and simmer until tender. Tomatoes, hot or cold, can be used to furnish part of the added liquid. And then it goes on to having some recipes. I will copy and paste the recipes in my description box below. You can find all of these in the archives. And it is an amazing step back into time, because back then, yes, there were books, but women didn't spend a lot of money on books. There wasn't a lot of money to spend. And so that is the housekeeper's chat. Now, it may seem to you to be a little bit of just common knowledge, but back then, just to hear a friendly woman's voice on the radio every single day was something that was a companionship, and neighbors were companionships with each other as well. It just brings you back to a different time. Daily, all about old-fashioned way of living, the Great Depression, World War II, Victory Garden, and all those amazing subjects. Make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified. Oh, and ring the bell. And that way you know every day when I post my videos.